Cadillac's hit music station, 107.9 CDY. Pausing the music for about 30 minutes for some local chat. It's Cadillac Unscripted. It's sponsored by Independent Bank. And we love to talk about things that are going on in the community that are beneficial for our citizens and especially some people in need. And we've got Katy Huckle here with me right now. Hi, Katy.
Hi there. Good morning. You know what? We're talking about one of my very, very favorite groups. One of my very favorite nonprofits today.
Oh, we have profiled Oasis many times. In fact, Tim Gunter is here with us, and we're going to get to what is happening tomorrow for Oasis. But we didn't have them in because we just had them in a couple weeks ago, actually, Tim.
Oh, my goodness. It's true. And welcome, Tim.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
Tim is from Buff and Stuff Automotive Detailing. You're a Lake City-based business, right?
That's correct.
So you got together with a whole bunch of fellow detailers, and you decided to drop the competitive aspect to do something for the community. Can you talk about what's happening on Father's Day?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, we've got myself and three other competing detailers here locally from Cadillac. So we've got Details Auto Detailing, Cadillac Auto Detailing and Ceramic Coatings, and Extreme Image Auto Detailing, who's actually out of Houghton Lake. And these are, I'd like to say, a small group of the best in the detailing business. And what we were able to do, I think, is a really good thing. And like you said, we set aside all the competition, any business aspect of anything, and we said, look, we'd like to come together and do something meaningful for the community to help out. And right now it's very tough times, especially for, raising children in general, to be able to find diapers, wipes, formula, things like that.
Everything is so expensive
Absolutely.
now, Tim, and it's heartbreaking when you have families who have to choose between what they're spending their money on.
Absolutely. And I mean, not even to mention the aspect of just how hard it is to find at this point. So we said, look, let's put on an event. We're going to wash cars, just a basic wash, something like you'd see at a high school for them fundraising for their band or football or whatever. And we'll see how it turns out. And basically that's it. We're just taking donations primarily for diapers, wipes, formula, but we'll also take donations of, shelf-stable food items, gently used children's clothing, even cash donations, any tips that we may receive that are intended for us. We're not taking anything. We're going to actually give this all directly to the Oasis Family Center.
Is this going to be fully staffed by all the detailers who and your families, I guess, too?
Yes, sir. That's correct. And we've got some other local vendors as well who have been, gracious enough to help us out to attract more people to this event. Some of those would include, and I'm sure I'm going to forget some of them, but we've got Lake City High School that's allowing us to use their parking lot. We've got the Lake City Fire Department that's going to actually be there, and they're helping us out with some bounce houses and a dunk tank. Tasty Treat, they've got some cool coupons. McDonald's, same thing, some cool coupons there. Wesco, they've also provided some coupons along with Subway. And obviously here at the radio station, you guys have been, gracious enough to have us on to,
spread the word.
Yeah, spread the word and let everybody know what we're doing.
What a wonderful thing to do, and your timing is impeccable with Father's Day. Watching men in the community care about families and care about children and reach out to people that are hurting in a very real way. This isn't you got to apply for a grant or you've got to.
Right.
Oasis meets people right where they're at, and just kudos to you guys for doing something new and stepping up at such a hard time for folks.
It is. It's a very, very difficult time for so many of us. I think our population as a whole.
Right.
It's just a very different time altogether over the past couple of years.
You could have put your money anywhere for this event. What made you decide that Oasis was the beneficiary for this?
So that was, I think by default, Oasis is just one of the bigger, more popular,
well-known.
Well-known agencies that are out there helping families with this kind of stuff. So it just naturally came, hey, Oasis is going to be probably the ones that will receive these donations. I'll be honest, we really wanted to kind of spread the donations out amongst different charitable organizations throughout Wexford and Missaukee County. But unfortunately, just in the pursuit of trying to find some other organizations similar. We were finding, hey, look, we don't have a food pantry or anything necessarily set up. And Oasis, again, they have all of that set up. So, again, it was just kind of a natural thing. Hey, Oasis, I think is going to be the ones that we're going to give most of these, if not all of these donations to. And they'll actually be there on site to help collect these donations as well.
Amazing, Tim. I will tell you, because I spent some time with Sarah Shields this week, who is the director of Oasis. The shelter is at capacity. It is full.
Wow.
They are having women and children, they're moving them into hotel rooms. And so I'm getting the chills just because the timing is so critical here. And you probably didn't even know that.
I honestly didn't.
Okay, see.
I don't think there's ever a bad time, but
right.
If this is a better time than others, then that's great.
The need is so great. And when you talk about, diapers and formula, these things that we just kind of expect and take for granted, then you add food costs and fuel costs onto all of this. It's overwhelming for people, and it's starting to impact their mental and physical health.
Absolutely. It's like you said, it's impacting people's lives in every aspect. So, that's really what our idea behind this whole thing was, is, hey, if we can help the community as a whole to kind of relieve some of this, and I guess give some of the folks some confidence that, hey, there is some help out there. There are people that are willing to help. Maybe that set their minds at ease.
That's right. People care. So it's a competitive business. I mean, what's better than a clean car, Rich? Nothing.
Inside and out, yes.
Especially with all your kids, that big family.
I don't even want to show my vehicle off to Tim. I've got stuff everywhere. They could take a week and not get it done.
I made sure to park pretty far away from it when I got
here. Oh my goodness. Well, so what? Because they're competitors. These detailers that you're doing this with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Give us an idea of what the phone call from Tim to the competition asking for a big favor. Could you step up for the community? How did that go? Because that's impressive.
It really wasn't that difficult. It's just similar, I guess, to anybody else who I would call along the way, especially with other businesses, to see, hey, would you mind donating something to help this event out? I was fortunate enough to kind of already know some of these detailers, at least in some way. I've actually never met Dustin from Extreme Image Auto Detailing, so I'm looking forward to that. I think the first time I'm going to ever meet him is this Sunday at the event. But I had met with Greg from Cadillac Auto Detailing and Ceramic Coatings about a year ago. He actually came to my shop and was very kind and more than happy to help me kind of learn how to do ceramic coating.
Wow.
So we did a job together, and that worked out amazing. And then Eric, I just met him for the first time maybe about a month ago. But really it was, how it all kind of came about with this group in particular is that, I'm less than 2 years into this business. So they say to be successful, you've got to surround yourself with successful people. So I pay attention to my competition. I don't care who they are.
Right.
If they're a detailer, I'm paying attention to them. And these are the other detailers locally that just stuck out to me.
Okay.
And I said, I've got to be a part of this little group, and I'd like to bring everybody together. And as far as I know, and I may be wrong, this is the first time that we've all come together for a common cause, but none of them had any issue with it. There was no thought. They were just, hey, we're down. Let us know what we need to do. What do you need? We'll bring buckets, soaps, whatever we need for it. So it really was not a challenge at all, fortunately.
Awesome. That's inspiring. What's the goal? If it goes to perfection, it goes exactly the way you want it to go, Tim, what's the goal?
Man, with a first annual, that's a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
You don't even know what's going to happen.
Yeah. So that like you said, it's a tricky thing. So obviously, we hope that this event is going to have a nice turnout. We'd like to accomplish our goal of being able to donate, to get donations in an amount that's going to be, very effective for Oasis and the community as a whole. So with that being said, there's really no limit to what we could potentially do in the future. Maybe next year we'll do it again if the turnout this year is really good, and maybe it'll be for other folks. Like say if the high schools say, hey, we're really looking to raise some funds for our band or our sports boosters, whatever it may be. Could you guys help? Yeah, we'll help, and maybe next year on Father's Day we'll have a fundraiser for that. Ultimately, it really is going to come down to, I think, if it's something we continue to do, which me personally, I would love to do it on an annual basis, whatever the most immediate need is.
Your phone is going to be blowing up, my friend. Get ready.
I hope so.
Oh, good.
I hope so.
Good. Question, is every detailer a dad?
Yes, all of us are. I have 5 children myself, and I know Greg has 1. I believe Eric has 3 or 4. And Dustin, same. He has 3 or 4. So we all know very well what it's like to, be a father and what it takes to raise a child, let alone, we've got more than just one.
Right.
So, each child beyond 1 just gets a little bit more difficult. There's other challenges involved with it. I can't speak for them, but I'm sure that just like myself, in raising my children, I've had some serious challenges, whether it's financially or whatever it may be. So I'm sure that they've experienced that as well. So that in that aspect, this event really means a lot to us because we get it. We really know, and a lot of other people do too. But we really know this is important, and we'd really love to be able to help out.
Right. So a lot of dads say, okay, on Father's Day, I'm going golfing. I get the biggest pork chop on the platter. I get to take a nap in my hammock.
Yep.
And you guys are going to be washing cars.
Yeah, absolutely. And our kids, our families are going to be there too. And that's the even more amazing part about it is that our families are all very supportive of it too. Yeah, we could be out there and enjoying a Father's Day of what we envision as the correct way to enjoy a Father's Day, but really, when it comes down to it, I think for us, it's there's really no other choice. If we have an opportunity to help children and families in the entire community versus just enjoying the biggest pork chop that I can find, I think that we're going to choose the route of helping the entire community.
I was just looking at the forecast, and tomorrow it looks like it's going to be 73 degrees.
Perfect.
So that's a perfect summer day. Not too hot, not too cold. Tell me a little bit about the Tim Gunter story. So how did you end up becoming a detailer?
Do you want the long story or the short story?
We have approximately 15 minutes.
All right, well, fair enough.
For it.
So it was, to be exact, it was September 24th of 2020.
You remember the date?
I remember the date.
Okay.
And this was in the height of COVID.
COVID, right.
And again, very rough times for a lot of folks at that point in time, and still to this day is carrying over. And I was going through a job transition, and I'm sitting one night talking to my wife, and she's always kind of made jokes about, hey, look, you should really, and I don't even want to say they're jokes. I think she was really serious, but hey, you're such a neat freak. Why don't you open a business to do something with cleaning or something like that? And every time she'd mention it, she'd be like, yeah, whatever, But then I thought about it, and the night of the 24th of September 2020, I said, look, I think I'm actually going to try this. I said, I'm not going to put any money into it. I'm just going to put a post out on Facebook and we'll see how it goes. And I started out it was like $20 and $40 for an interior detailing, some ridiculously low numbers. And I went to bed after I shared these posts to some of the yard sale groups and community groups on Facebook. Next morning I wake up and there's almost 30 messages in my inbox for people who want their cars detailed. And I said, wow, that was fast.
You found a niche.
I did. And so naturally, seeing that kind of a response so quickly, I said, wow, there might be something here. So that's how I got started. And I went out and I did a little bit of mobile detailing. I had people come to me, whatever it may be. And over time, I just, again, like I said, I started looking at other local detailers and seeing whose work I liked the best and what they're doing. And I said, wow, I really want to take this in the highest possible direction that I can take this. If I'm going to do it, I want to do it, and I want to do it correctly. So after lots and lots of watching, especially these three other guys that I'm going to be doing this event with, plus YouTube and Seiler Sales from Traverse City. I had them come out, and Ryan was able to walk me through the process of paint corrections and things like that. So just over the last, just over a year and a half, I feel like I've excelled in the dynamics of what I have to offer as a professional detailer.
The benefits versus the not so good benefits of being your own boss. What would you say to that?
Oh, geez. Well, being my own boss is great in some aspects. I can set my own hours, at least to a certain extent. If I need some free time to do something with the family, great, I can make that time. Aside from that, to be honest with you, it's very difficult because now I've got to worry about insurance. I've got to worry about my shop. I've got to worry about how I'm marketing. I've got to worry about, hey, when is the next customer coming in? And especially being so new, my name isn't out there as much as some of these other guys who have been in it for, years. So I'm breaking into a very competitive market. So it's very stressful at times, and I find myself not taking very many days or time off. Even if I'm not physically in a vehicle working on detailing, I'm watching my competitors. I'm coming up with what my next ad is going to be. I'm trying to, just in the past less than a week, I went out into the community in Lake City and went door to door, parking lots, putting cards in windows and so on and so forth. And I'll stay out until 9 o'clock at night. So it's really, I don't want to say it's a drawback to have to do all of that stuff. It's part of what being a business owner is. It really is. I mean, your future is 100% in your hands. And if something goes right, you blame yourself. If something goes wrong, you blame yourself. So there's always I think it's a good thing overall. It keeps me busy, but it is very stressful at times. But overall, I really enjoy it.
It's a cliche, but it's accurate. You get out of what you put into it, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
I have a prediction here. You are going to be wildly successful. I'm telling you.
I appreciate that, and I certainly hope so.
Where's your location?
We are at our address is 5665 West Kelly Road in Lake City.
Okay.
One thing about the Lake City community that I love, because I've done business over there for years, had a place on Lake Misaki, etc. That group comes together. They are wildly loyal. Yeah. They're so loyal.
Yeah, I couldn't believe how well everybody came together. I mean, this is really my first time ever doing an event like this. But like you said, there was really no question from anybody. It was yes, absolutely. So
I look at other fundraisers that have been held there. I look at the strength of that Chamber of Commerce. I'm friends with several business owners in Lake City, and all you got to do is ask them and something for the community, and they all just step right up.
Yeah.
Greatest fourth in the North.
I was just going to say that. I mean, any organization that can pull off something as massive as that in such a small town, kudos to them.
Yeah, and that I'm glad you mentioned the greatest fourth in the North, which for anybody who might not know, that the fireworks display is actually going to be Saturday the 2nd.
Okay.
And we were fortunate enough to be able to sponsor that event as well. So just another way that we were able to help the community at least throw a nice event.
Tim, I'm telling you, people notice things like that. They notice when you give back too. And we're talking about time, treasure, and talent. Now all three that you're giving back. And I think that builds loyalty too.
Goodwill.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like in business, we call it blue sky. Can you put a price tag on it? Probably not. But people will see you giving back to your community and creating a new fundraiser. That's difficult. I know a lot about fundraising, and that is difficult to do and to pull off. And I have a very good feeling about your event tomorrow.
I hope it's a very nice turnout. But again, it's one of those things where until the day comes, you really don't know. But I'm confident that it's going to turn out nicely.
Me too. What are the details of where should people go? What would you recommend the donation be? I mean, I know it's kind of whatever someone would like to donate
Yeah.
at their discretion. But if you were going to recommend, like, what would they pay at a car wash? What would the equivalent be to the value that they're getting?
Yeah, sure. That's an excellent question. So to get the recommended donations right out of the way, we've actually got it on our Facebook events, and it's outlined right there. The primary 3 items that we are looking for is diapers, wipes, and formula.
Okay.
But understanding that those are potentially very difficult for people to find to be able to donate, we are also going to accept, canned foods, shelf-stable foods. Like I said earlier, gently used children's clothing. We just, we would ask that with clothing that it's, again, gently used and clean, so that way we can just pass it right on to Oasis and they don't have to do much else with it.
Nice.
And again, cash donations. If if there's not anything in particular that somebody has that they want to donate, I'm sure that cash will help Oasis as well with anything really that they need it for. So in comparison to what you're going to receive as far as a car wash versus what we are doing versus going to your actual average tunnel wash, again, it's basic. I don't want to get anybody's hopes up that this is going to be like a stellar detailing, because that's really not what it's about.
Right.
But it is going to be, I would say, substantially better in quality than what you would receive if you went and paid even $15 for the top of the line wash that you can get running through any kind of automatic car wash. Because a lot of folks know, I think you ask just about anybody, when you get out of those car washes, a lot of times right down the center of the vehicle, you see the dirt, especially on the back, and it never touched it, and it's like, wow, I just wasted $15, So
something about the way the air circulates.
Yeah.
Yep, right.
It is. I bring a chamois. So, and isn't that what you call it, a chamois?
Yes,
And
what it is.
I get out of my car and I find those little spots because they drive me crazy.
Yep.
Our listeners maybe don't know this, but when a woman checks into the shelter, sometimes she might just have the clothes on her back, and so Oasis lets her, brings her to Second Chance, which is their retail store. And she then can pick out clothing and personal items, their hygiene things,
Nice.
At no charge to her.
That's awesome.
If she has children, the kids also can get backpacks and books and clothes. So you're going to contribute to that mission, and it's powerful, Tim.
That's awesome, and that's a good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
That what we're doing is appears that it's going to have a real impact to help.
Oh,
So
yeah.
why don't we circle back and talk about what the event is, where it is, and why you're doing it before we wrap up?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, it's the Father's Day Detailing for the Kids event. It's going to be held in the parking lot of Lake City High School this Sunday, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at least. Depending on turnout, we possibly may even stay later. We don't want to just have a line of folks there and not, be like, hey, it's 4 o'clock, we're done.
Right.
But, we're going to have, again, fire department, Lake City Fire Department's going to be there, at least 1 or 2 bounce houses, possibly more. There is a little play set that the school already has, so there's something there for the kids to do as well. Eric's Wraps actually is going to be there on site with his food trailer, and I talked to him yesterday. He's going to be offering, there's going to be little tokens for those who donate, and they get 50% off their food with that token. So that's another awesome thing. So several different coupons for other local vendors, so that way you can take your kid out after you're done getting your car washed, or yourself even, get yourself an ice cream cone or whatever it might be, and just show your support, I guess, in return to these other businesses, the local businesses that contributed to this event to make it possible, because without everybody being involved, none of this would have been possible.
Your vision for this event was for it to be more than a car wash.
Oh,
you
way
wanted
more.
it to be a community event.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And even in the title, like it says Father's Day Detailing for the Kids event, but it's about so much more. Yes, it is something for you to take your children out to do on Father's Day that's cheap and fun. Plus, you get your car washed. But it's so much more than just a Father's Day or a children's thing. This is about community in general. So that, like you said, the vision behind this is to make this so much more than really what the name of the event would suggest it is for.
hats off to you and your fellow detailers, because you are sort of setting the standard for what good men and good dads can do, and the impact that they can make in a community. And I need to tell you both Rich and Tim, happy Father's Day.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, well, between Tim and I, we have 9.
Oh, my goodness
Wow.
You have
gracious.
5, I have 4.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Happy Saint Father's Day.
So all the school superintendents are saying, thanks for keeping our schools going with kids. So, Tim, we really appreciate your time and your talents and your efforts here, and I hope that this is the first of many.
I do appreciate it, and thank you so much for having me. I wish some of the other guys were able to make it, but I definitely wanted to make sure that somebody was here. Again, I depending on the turnout this year, I would love to see this happen more often in the future.
There is an event page for this event that has been shared on our Cadillac Unscripted Facebook page, as well as the 1079 CDY Facebook page. So if there are any questions you feel Tim didn't answer, it's all right there. Just follow the link.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Tim,
guys.
for your amazing energy.
Thank you.
Another event coming up tomorrow is something that's being put on by the Northern Lights Readers Theater, and we're going to have Jay Simon join us for a few minutes and talk about that, coming up as Cadillac Unscripted continues in a moment on 1079 CDY. Our second segment of Cadillac Unscripted this morning, sponsored by Independent Bank, is with Jay Simon. He's part of the Northern Lights Readers Theater, and they've got a big show coming up on Father's Day.
Good morning, Rich. How are you?
I'm doing great. You have your fingers in a whole bunch of performing arts things going on in the Cadillac area. And this weekend, as the youngsters take charge with the Footlighters, with Frozen Jr.,
Yes.
you've got something going with the Northern Lights Readers Theater.
That we do.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
I'd love to talk a little bit about that.
That's why we had you here.
What? No way.
No, I just happened to run into you on the street and said, come on in, let's chat.
What a coincidence. So we're doing a Father's Day event, single day. It's going to be at 2 p.m. at the Up North Arts building there across from the football field. 601 Chestnut, I think, is the address.
The Quonset hut.
Yeah, yeah. It's going to start actually at 1:30. It's called Dads and Dogs. So the most recent thing we did was a wonderful play by a Michigan author called Potato Gumbo that we sort of did this combination of readers theater as well as acting it out a little bit. This is going to be more like some of our previous shows where it's quotes, jokes, and anecdotes. So going to get a lot of dad humor, a lot of dad jokes. Who doesn't love a good dad joke?
I tell them all the time, and I bet you do too.
Absolutely. Some quotes from famous and maybe not so famous people related to dads and father figures, not just dads, right? We have a lot of father-type figures in our lives, mentors in our lives that fill that role as well. So grandparents. And what's going to be really neat about this, too, is we have 4 of our members have written personal anecdotes about their own fathers. Excuse me, I apologize. 3 of them have written personal anecdotes about their own fathers. The 4th has written a short story, a fiction short story that he crafted himself. It's really, really cool stuff. All of them are humorous in some ways. They're touching in other ways. And so those 4 will be reading those pieces surrounded by these aforementioned jokes and quotes and shorter anecdotes and stories that we have culled from various sources. So it's about an hour long or so. We'll have about a 5-minute intermission for grabbing desserts. We're expecting to have a table of cookies cooked made by the wife of one of our readers, and Betty's Little Brats. The food truck will be there. So your tickets are $10 for adults, $6 for children. Your ticket gets you a hot dog, chips, and a beverage from Betty's Little Brats food truck. They'll be there at 1:30, so you can come, get your food, come on inside, enjoy your meal, and the show will start at about 2 p.m. And if you want a brat instead of a hot dog, you can go ahead and pay that difference and you can get a brat.
Oh, there you go.
So,
boy, that sounds tasty.
I know you're a brat guy.
I am a brat guy. I'm a food guy, Jay, just in general. So this sounds like a lot of fun. Give me the difference, if you would, between performing with the Footlighters and actually more so with just your voice.
So it's you just basically summed it up. So Readers Theater has traditionally, in its traditional form, and this event's going to be like that. Readers come out typically dressed in black. They sit on stools. They have their material in front of them, and they literally voice act. I mean, I don't know about you. I'm doing it right now as I talk to you. I can't talk and not motion with my hands or move in some way.
I will tell you, one of the first really, really super professional people that I worked with in radio talked with his hands as he was reading his scripts, and I always thought, gosh, that looks goofy. And now here I'm at 51 and I'm doing the same thing.
It's hard not to.
It
really is.
Yeah.
And if you're trying to voice act, if you're trying to sort of embody a character with your voice alone, you can't just sit there. It's impossible. So there is some movement and motion and acting, but it's using your voice to portray what it is, the emotion, the thoughts that are coming from what you're reading. So the advantage of it, and this is why, and I want to say this delicately, but it tends to be for performers who have perhaps reached that point where it's difficult for them to memorize lines, right? We all get to that point where it becomes a little more difficult, but we don't lose that passion for performing. We don't lose that ability to express what it is that we're saying and acting out. And so Readers Theater is ideal for that because the material is right there. You're not trying to memorize anything. You're able to act and perform and give of your talents without the pressure of having to memorize or the stress of having to memorize lines. So that's the primary difference. I know I mentioned before that some of the stuff we've done with Readers Theater has had a little bit of acting element in it, but everybody still has their scripts in front of them. So the reason behind that is it just becomes, it portrays it a little better, right? And it's this hybrid style that Pat Pavelio, our president, has kind of adopted and is what we've done in the past. But for this one, it's going to be that traditional black backdrop. Everybody's going to be dressed in black. They're going to come out in front, sit on stools, or stand in front of a little music stand with their material. And they're going to perform with you with their voices and the material that, as I mentioned, some of them have personally written. So I think it's going to be very enjoyable. A lot of humor, a lot of poignant stuff. I think people are going to enjoy it.
Who's your director?
Me.
You
actually.
are directing.
Yeah. I can't believe you made me say that on the radio. I've avoided that with Footlighters because it feels like a huge undertaking.
It's a big commitment.
It really is. And those that direct Footlighters shows, I have a tremendous amount of respect for. This has been a little less work, but it's still a tremendous amount of responsibility. And I think if you had any of the cast, the 7 folks who are going to be reading for us on Sunday, here with you, they'd tell you that Jay should not be allowed to direct anything anymore.
Who's the cast?
So, boy, I knew you were going to put me under that pressure. I think I can come up with them all, though. Chris Probst, Jim Smith, Mariska Larson, Pam Holmquist, Lisa Martek, Kathy Bloomfield. Oh, there's one more. Goodness gracious. If I had...
So this is where I will just edit it out.
Yes, you will. You will.
We got all day
6.
to come up with the last person.
I got 6. It's...
Did you count yourself?
I'm not reading.
Okay.
Oh, and Mary Kibbe.
Okay.
Are our readers. Pam, Chris, and Kathy have all written personal anecdotes that they're going to read for you. And then Jim Smith has authored other short stories, and he has a short story that has a tie-in to Father's Day that he's going to be reading as well. So,
date and time one more time.
Father's Day, Sunday, June 19th, 1:30 p.m. is when you can come and get your meal from Betty's Little Brats. The show will start at 2, should last about an hour, maybe a little more than an hour. We'll have about a 5-minute intermission. There will be cookies, and I think it'll be a fun time. So if you don't have littles that you're going to see at Footlighters, because I don't necessarily, this is the difficulty, right? Because Footlighters Juniors, their Frozen Junior show,
is it
also at 2 o'clock on Sunday?
Yes, right, it's the matinee. Right.
So if you don't have littles, grandchildren that are performing in that, here's something that might interest you. So
go support Jay Simon and all the folks who are making Northern Lights Readers Theater happen in the Cadillac area. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rich.
That's Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank. More local chat next week, 8:30 a.m., same time, same station, 107.9 CDY.